Newcastle United have finally begun their transfer dealings and one body is officially through the door. But he's a player none of us know much about. Yankuba Minteh. Who is he? What sort of player is he? And what can we maybe expect from him in the future? Also, lots of issues with football shirts, which is why I look like I've smashed 30 Greg's pasties in the last 48 hours. So that one's going to be explained on this video. Players out of contract, who's going to be staying, who's going to be moving on, and also a cheeky mention for potentially a fan park outside St James's Park. It's all coming up in this video, Newcastle fans, so do us a favour, make sure you stick around. Welcome back to another video on Black and White Banter, you absolutely wonderful Newcastle fans. I hope you are enjoying the sunshine. It is fucking like what feels like 50 degrees outside. It is red hot, and my God, as a nation, do we just clamour for beer garden pints when the weather gets like this. Whether it's 10 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you just clamour to be in a beer garden. It just goes hand in hand. Wouldn't it be nice if there was some football going on right now? Wouldn't it be nice? Forget all this international shite. If you are new to Black White Banter, before I get into all the topics, do us a favour, Newcastle fans. Make sure you drop down. Give us a little like. That doesn't do you much effort, but it means a lot to me. And whack that subscribe button. The subscribers are flying up at the moment, and it's just absolutely wonderful. Right, lots to talk about on this video. I'm not calling this video the last word, by the way. I'm going to keep that for when the Premier League season is up and running, with, you know, because that's normally when we discuss the weekend's match. This is just going to be around it when there's a lot of things to talk about. So this one, I might look to give it a title in future videos. It doesn't have one right now. If you think of any clever names, I was trying to think what goes with Wednesday, with Tuesday, the summer sizzle. No. I need to get me creative juices flowing. But first things first, before I overcombust and need to call an ambulance, the reason I look like I've put on 20 Clem and I've been smashing Greg's for breakfast, lunch and tea for the last 3 or 4 days, as nice as that would be, I haven't gained a lot of weight. I have got these Newcastle shirts on because I want to discuss the ridiculous complaints, in my opinion, about the new Newcastle home shirt. There's been lots talked about on social media, in this social media world that we live in, that the new shirt is faulty because there are 2 T's in United and not an I. There's even a YouTuber gone out of his way to do a full video outside the club shop, talking to fans, asking them whether they'll get a refund, really pushing their bias on them. And he's even gone and tried to speak to Castor management about this issue. And watching that video, I'm just going to call a spade a spade. I don't do these YouTube videos to sit on the fence. It had my blood boiling. Just do some research, do some homework, and I'm going to put the microphone down whilst I show you just as an example, so I can cool down in the process, why there is nothing wrong with the top as it is, as an embroidered shirt where the letters are embroidered. So I'm just going to plonk this down. If the sound quality gets worse, I apologise. First shirt, NTL, late 90s, early 2000s. On this one, the T, the first I looks a little bit like a T. Next up, we've got an absolute classic from the 90s, a brown ale top. And if I look a little bit closer at the embroidered I, yeah, that almost looks like an F because of the font used by Newcastle United in our badge, in our crest. Next up, what have we got? We've got another 90s classic. What's this one look like? Yeah, looks like 2 T's. United, Newcastle United, even in the 90s. Next up, got relegated in this one. Let's have a look at this one. Badge in the middle. Yeah, again, that almost looks like an F, so it looks like Unfitted. On that one, does not look like an I at all. And last but certainly not least, that one's tight. One of the all-time classic Newcastle tops, brown ale. And what does it look like on this one? It looks like a T on this one as well. Newcastle fans, the reason I went through that effort is to just emphasise the fact that, yes, we would prefer in an ideal world our badges to clearly say United. But what I want to emphasise is that every embroidered shirt where the letters are embroidered, not just the badge, there has always been a little bit of an error. And even these football tops that are now fetching £200, because these are all originals, by the way, I'm not really into my fake remakes, the badge and the lettering on the badge is a little bit suspect on the eye. This is not a fault of Castor. This does not deserve a video outside the club shop. This does not deserve fans asking for refunds. It really, really doesn't. The term mountain out of a molehill comes to mind with this one. Yes, we prefer to look a bit better, but until Newcastle United change their font where the letters are very close together, it's never going to happen, as the shirts I've just showed you have proved. If you would prefer a shirt with a plastic badge like the Pro Kit that will be released very soon, you go for it. I know what I would prefer. Embroidered all the way. It's just so much more authentic. It feels like you are getting so much more value for your money, and it has an old school feel. If you want a plastic stick on where it's just because of a letter I looking more like an eye, you crack on. But can we just put that one to bed? And my God, if this week has told me anything, social media and YouTube can be an absolute dirty hole. It really, really can. Do some homework. Look back over previous tops before you start making your mouth go to Castor. Embarrassing. Right, so now I've been able to cool down. Let's move on. I'm curious to get your thoughts about that one in the comments. So, the big news this week, in my opinion, is that Newcastle United have actually got some transfer business done. It was a deal we were expecting, but it's not one for now, it's one for the future. Yankuba Minteh, the Gambian winger, has come in from Odense in Denmark. They've received a record amount of money for him for their club. Good for them, good for us. And he is going to be going straight out to Feyenoord in the Dutch league. So if you're anything like me, who is he? Well, I like to look at scouting reports. So he is a winger. He can also play off the striker as well. He's left-footed, but he does prefer to play on the right-hand side, very much like Almiron, if you wanted to look at it that way, in our current team. One of his weaknesses with that is that he never uses his right foot. Of course, he's so young, he's got so much time to develop that. But again, Almiron, very one-footed, right-hand-sided midfielder for us. He always likes to cut inside. He's very, very good at dribbling. His strong points are in one-on-one situations. But with that, he does try the impossible and sometimes loses the ball with his decision-making. He's very much a flair player, very much someone who will try and take on 1, 2, 3, 4 players. And as we know, with all of the flair players Newcastle United have had over the years, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. We look at Maximin, Laurent Robert, Happen Ben Arfa. There's a common theme there. So he is an exciting prospect. He is a confident boy. He was thrown straight into that Odense team last season. And yeah, his stronger points, dribbling, agility, his ability to pick a pass, his playmaking style, his weaknesses, not as good with both feet, and can sometimes try things, and his decision making can be a bit affected by trying to take on maybe one too many players. Lots of movement and development there. He's actually played in the front of a 3, which again, you look at how Eddie Howe sets up now. I know he's not going to be in the team next season. That suits Eddie Howe, as he likes to play a 3 up front with one striker down the middle. That's where Minteh has played this season. I'll put a photo of his heat map on, a very recent heat map from last season. You can see he's just right-hand side dominant. He is a hot prospect. That's why the price tag is pretty big. And it's just another exciting player. We're not going to see anything of him this season. But what I really like about this move, where Garang Kuol didn't really work when he went to Hearts because he got no game time, Feyenoord, not only are they in one of Europe's top leagues in the Dutch league, Feyenoord are a team with a massive reputation for bringing youth players through. So 12 of the 20 all-time record transfers that Feyenoord have seen go out across Europe and further have all been their own players that have come through their ranks. They have a very young team more recently that's helped Feyenoord rise up again. They got to a cup final last year, the Europa Conference against Roma. They won a title under Van Bronckhorst. This has all been helped by their youth team and giving their youth team a chance, but also having a strong one. So I genuinely believe that Minteh is in great hands. And if it's Shola Amiobi that's pulled off a move to Feyenoord for the kid, fair play Shola. He's had a lot of people on his back about Garang Kuol's move to Hearts. Once Shola Amiobi's put the work in on a player going to a club, you can't then decide whether that player plays. There's no contract that says he has to get certain game time. But I think Yankuba Minteh coming in and going straight to Feyenoord for the season, is a great move. And I cannot wait to see how he does in the Dutch League. Obviously, we'll all keep an eye now and it'll be heavily reported. So yeah, it's exciting. It's not one where we're going to be jumping out of our seats because it's not for now, it's for the future. But to see Newcastle making moves so early in windows for players, spending 7 million on a player for the future is only going to bode well. Dan Ashworth's obviously seen something in this kid and we are in great hands in Dan Ashworth. And the structure of this football club now is finally, after years of shithousery from Mike Ashley and co, finally starting to go places. So welcome to the tune, Yankuba Minteh. I hope you like sausage rolls. I hope you like brown ale. Let's see what he can do in future years and let's see what he can do in that Dutch League. Hopefully he lights it up. Other bits of news to come out the club this week so far. Seller, our new shirt sponsor, has announced that plans are in place to develop a state-of-the-art fan park outside St James's Park. My first reaction to that, oh, lovely jubbly. I think a fan park outside our amazing stadium in the bank centre of the city will be absolutely fucking incredible. It needs it. There's that lovely bit of space outside the club on the walk up to the ground, where there's obviously like car parks. There's been a lot of construction work more recently. To see a fan park with beers, with entertainment, with live music, with DJs, with bands, the possibilities are endless. The most recent fan park I was at for a Premier League club was Crystal Palace. They have a nice one that's friendly to away fans just outside their stadium, and I loved it. I thought it was great. It was easy to get a pint. There was lots of different bars. There was entertainment. There was cheerleaders. Oggy. And I loved it. And I think the fact that Newcastle now are looking at just expanding our match day experience is great. And obviously there's scope there for the fan park to be open on days the stadium isn't open to watch. I don't know whether games will be able to be streamed in there like they are in Shearer's Bar. I'm not sure how that works. But yeah, long may these kind of plans keep coming. And I'm really excited about that. And if Seller, as the digital creative experience company that they are responsible for pushing that, then I'm all for Seller being on the shirts. I really am. And yeah, that's really an exciting bit of news to come out of the club. I can't wait to see that once it's put up. So long may that continue. Imagine get the Geordie Dancer on stage, like get some proper classic, wouldn't that be wonderful? Geordie Dancer on there, maybe he's Anton Deck for a celebrity hosting experience. Black and white banter maybe, a couple of years, who knows. The other bit of news to come out of the club as I make this video, so today, is the announcement of which players are going to be staying and which players are going to be going. Our retained list for the 23-24 season. So the big ones of note that are leaving are Kieran Clark and Matty Longstaff. Now, I don't think that's going to come as a surprise to either, to any Newcastle fans of them both leaving. Matty Longstaff especially has just had an injury nightmare. He banged in the winner against Man United, which was one of my greatest days because I fucking hate them. So I'll always remember him for that. He's pretty much, in a nutshell, done nothing since. I don't know, he did get a fair bit of game time in cup competitions after that under Steve Bruce. We just never saw that same Matty Longstaff that lit up that game against Man United, and he did have a really good game that day as well. So I don't know, he's had a torrid time with injuries. He's been out on loan to different clubs. Mansfield, I think he was at. He's had injury issues left, right and centre. He's been in Scotland and it's just never worked for him, and he must be so gut-wrenching for him to watch his brother Sean, as happy as he must be for him, reach the heights that he has whilst he's sat in the background. So that's sad, because he's a Geordie lad who we would have loved to see them two brothers come through the ranks and really light up our team. But I'm sure he'll still have a career in the game and we'll all keep an eye on him. And again, I just want to thank him for that amazing day against Man United. Oh, I remember it well. St. Maximin cutting it back for him. I think I watched a video to the Titanic music, him scoring. It was wonderful. The other one, Kieran Clark. I honestly think Kieran Clark has had a fantastic career, and I think for Newcastle he's been absolutely brilliant, and a lot of people tarnish him with a couple of games in his last season just before we got taken over where he didn't play very well. We got beat 4-0 against Man City at home where he made a mistake early doors. He got the red card against Norwich, which we'll touch on in a second because that was actually quite significant. But generally speaking, Kieran Clark, fantastic in the opposition box at scoring goals, a solid defender, a leader, and he's had a brilliant career internationally for Ireland. He's got lots of caps, and I think he has been one of our most solid signings. He helped us get promoted under Rafa Benitez. That's when he was probably one of the best signings that we had. He was great in future seasons in keeping us in the Premier League. And I think he's been absolutely brilliant. And I wouldn't be surprised in Ireland from Irish Newcastle fans whether he's seen in high regard as well. Fair play, Kieran. You've done us absolute wonders. And of course, Joe Linton, I'm sure, is very happy with you, Kieran Clark. I wouldn't be surprised. I think he's got this statue in his garden of you. And the reason that is without you getting sent off against Norwich in that 1-1 draw in that relegation battle, Joe Linton would have never been moved into midfield and we would not have a brick shithouse of a Jordi Pele in our central midfield. So thank you very much for that as well. So those are the two going out. Contract extensions have been offered to Paul Dummett, I believe, to Matt Ritchie. I think Matt Ritchie's been kept in for his leadership skills. I don't think he's going to play very much. I think we found out from a Trippier podcast that he's actually part of a leadership group that meets once a week to sit down, which involves Ritchie, Lascelles, who else was in that? I think Shelvey was in it, but he's not anymore. And who else was in that leadership club? I can't think of it. Trippier, of course, because he's our current captain. But that just told me, even though he's not playing, same as Lascelles, Matt Ritchie offers so much more than just on the field football. He's a massive character in the background as well, so that's why he's been offered that. Gillespie, the goalkeeper who's living every Newcastle fan's dream life of never playing but just being amongst it and enjoying the ride. He's been offered a contract extension. I'm sure that falls into the rules and regulations that we need to be playing in the Champions League with regards to squad and where our squad are from and what academies they've come through and what nationality they are. We won't get into that in this video. So yeah, so there's some ins, there's some outs, there's some contract extensions. Karius, who's only ever played once for us in that cup final, he's been offered a contract extension. That would suggest to me that Dubravka and Darlow are both possibly going out. That's what I would gather from that. So lots of movement. Thank you very much, Kieran Clark. Thank you very much, Matty Longstaff. But this is only the start. I think we're going to start selling players. Obviously, Hayden's due to come back. Hendrick's due to come back. We've then got like the Manquillos, the Lascelles. There's lots of players there with question marks. Chris Wood's made his move to Nottingham Forest permanent for 15 million. Thank you very much, Nottingham Forest. So yeah, this is only the start of a massive summer overhaul. Newcastle fans, let me know what you think in the comments. Please don't start going on about the Newcastle logo and the United and saying that it's faulty. It's not. Let us know what you think about the plans to create a fan park. Let me know what you think about Yankuba Minteh. Maybe you know more about him than me. If you do, that'll be absolutely wonderful to hear. And let me know what you think about Kieran Clark and Matty Longstaff going out and the contract extensions. Drop down the comments. If you've lasted this long, you have to whack the subscribe button. Give us a little like, and I'll see you on the next video. I'm going to go and enjoy some sunshine. Away the lads! Oh,